want that. Okay, so I'm testing this, I assume. I know we're live because it says it's live. I go live like twice a week on District, but it just streams to my YouTube page, so it's way less rare that I go live through YouTube. So that is still new for me. Yeah. So not sure who is around or wants to hang out. But right now I'm literally just getting my thing so I can see the chat. Hello, hello. So you can definitely hear me. Okay, now I'm putting it on mute. There we go. All right. Well, so if no one comes, that's totally okay because this will just become a posted live video that will just go on my page with all my other live videos. So I'll hang here for a second and see if anyone pops in. Yeah, this is Cherish Charlotte's Boutique, and I'm Curry. So we'll see if anyone wants to come hang out. And I'm going to eat some applesauce while I wait. I know that's terribly exciting. Okay. What just happened here? Hey there, Hannah. How are you? Okay, so I didn't know if people had to comment for me to see them or if I can just tell that someone pops in, because right now it's just you and I. If someone just pops in because, you know, I don't know if you remember, but on District, when someone comes in, it'll say such and such has arrived. But on here, I guess I really don't know unless someone says hello. Is that right? They have to like type hello because it's not going to like notify me that someone's popped in. It's different. It does not tell you who's watching. Okay, well, that's cool. Good to know. Okay, this light is going to drive me nuts. So I'm not doing that. Okay, all right, well, cool. This is totally an experiment because I'm so not used to going live on, you know, on YouTube. So, you know, it's been forever since I've made my camera go horizontal, you know, but it's important to do it. I just, you know, sometimes I totally want to get away from sales and I want it to be all about jewelry. I know you know what I mean, Hannah, because I know you've been doing like sales on your page as well. And I like the way that you kind of kind of did your thing where you're kind of doing an opening or an unjarring or an unboxing one video, and then maybe another video. The next one will be one for selling. Because I think you'll feel, it makes me feel crazy if I feel like it's always about sales. I want it to be about the pretty jewelry too, which, by the way, I have some amazing stuff in here. So I'm excited to get that out. Okay, can you hear that fan in the background? I do have a fan breathe towards me. I just didn't know if it was like really loud or anything. If you can hear it. Okay. I'm going to type one message for people to come in. Please say hello or give me thumbs up in chat so I know who is here. All right. Let's look at some awesome jewelry treasures. Hey, Hannah, just out of curiosity. Okay, good. It's not noticeable. I was just curious if where your main like thrift store is, where you like to go. I mean, like, there's like, I don't, and do you tend to buy more stuff from a thrift store, or do you tend to get more of your stuff from antique stores? I think I'm a pretty half and half with mine. You know, today was half antique store, half thrift store. But anyways, let me just pull out what I got in this bag generally. You know, one big thing that I did get today was a huge jewelry bag. I wasn't really planning to go over that tonight, but if I end up, my haul goes faster than I had anticipated, we can do that, you know. So I will just set that aside. But okay, so do you do most of your stuff like Shop Goodwill, or do you do that high bid auction site that Rachel always talks about? I do source stuff online as well. Like, I definitely shop from Shop Goodwill, but you know, sometimes I know, and I definitely know you get some stuff from eBay because I listen to your shows and you have some favorite people that you've used that have been on eBay. So that's cool too. So, anyways, to look at later. Yeah, that's a big jewelry bag that I wasn't planning to open tonight, but I'll put it to the side. And then I will get out all this other stuff, pretty much, that I got today. And I'm just going to pour it out here, but then generally I may put it all in a tub and set it to the side. Some good stuff, though. I do have my Presidium here to the left. I'll turn that on. Hannah, do you ever feel like you'll get a Presidium, or are you happy with just using that other tool? I have the same one you have. That's the less expensive one. That was the first one that I had. You know, and you can definitely get some knowledge from there. Obviously, on that one, you can easily tell, you know, obviously diamond or moissanite, you can't tell the difference between the two. Same thing with here. If something tests for diamond, or it could be diamond, or maybe eventually, right, or moissanite. But on that other cheaper one, you know, it's pretty easy to tell whether you have a ruby or a sapphire, or generally kind of quartz range. It's pretty easy to tell. Obviously not as specific, but you're pretty good. Yeah, this is an awesome ring. Talk about treasures. This particular ring right here that I will show you. Let me zoom in a little. Is actually a beautiful multiple carat lab grown sapphire. I mean, ruby / sapphire, because they Thank you. Isn't it beautiful? They are both, you know, under the same family of gemstones. You know, it's like a ruby is a type of sapphire, but this one is, they're made up of exactly the same thing, but this one is lab created. But I found this, can you believe this? I found this at a consignment store. They had it marked for $30. And I think on their little ticket, it said gold plated. And, you know, of course, everyone looks at the stuff inside. And I felt like it looked like gold. So you know, I was like, and I've had enough experience with precious metals to be like, but on the inside, it does in fact say 10, I think 10 karat gold plated. You can sort of see it there. Let's see. 10 karat, there you go. And, you know, you don't know for sure, but then I brought it home, of course, and then used my gem tester, which here's an exciting thing. You know, here, let me unzoom this out a little bit so you can see this, but, and this isn't part of my haul tonight, but I might as well start off by just showing you how incredible this find was, because this is probably worth about $3,000, because the value of a lab grown, you know, pink sapphire of this size is worth, when you go online and look at lab grown ones to all like the fancy sites that make them. So of course this will bring us up to ruby and sapphire, as you see. But the other exciting things, as if any of you that are resellers and know how all the tricks of the trade to use to be able to identify if something is a ruby per se, or some sapphires will actually shine under black light, but to see what it does under black light. And I'm going to turn off the lights and I'm going to blow your mind, because this thing lights up like a Christmas tree. And so let me turn this off for 1 second. We'll just go in the dark for a second. And this isn't going to light up as well as, you know, if I was in the pitch dark. But you can get an idea. There you go. And it looks better when I put it just to the side. It ends up, if I shine it right on it, you can't see how much it lights up, but it's incredible. So there's no doubt that this is, in fact, what I believed it was. I did acid test it. It is, in fact, 10 karat gold. And then when you go online to like Brilliant Earth or something and you find, you know, a lab-grown sapphire that's of that millimeter measurement, yeah, the ones I found were in the thousands. So that was a really good find, you know. This is what I have to say to all you out there that are out there sourcing for all your awesome jewelry to resell. You gotta go with your gut instinct for sure. When you're looking at things, I mean, obviously you need to look for your marks. It did say 10 karat, but we all know, especially often with things from China, things will be marked and it's not actually so. But in this case it was, and it was an excellent, definitely a great treasure to find. I got a couple other rings that same day, but they weren't quite as valuable as this. This is worth a couple $1,000. So pretty good find, I'd have to say. So of those of you that have popped in here off YouTube, I just want to real quick introduce myself. If this is the first time you've popped into one of my videos, my name is Curry and I am with Cherished Relics Boutique. I do part-time sales on eBay under the same name, Cherished Relics Boutique. As well as part-time sales on the platform district.net. And I do sell under the marketplace Lilyworks Jewels, Antiques, and Makers under the same name, Cherished Relics Boutique. I actually do like 2 live shows a week from that actually streams to my YouTube page. And yeah, if you've never been here, my YouTube page, you should definitely go check it out. Lots and lots of unboxings, unjarrings, a few educational things, but more of kind of the jewelry hauls and the sort, and kind of really how to source things and stuff like that. I am not an expert. I know Hannah, my friend, often says the same thing. You know, we are learning along the way, just like everybody else, the tools of the trade of kind of jewelry resale. But you know, this is an incredible community because, boy, are people there to help each other and to support each other. And for that, I'm very grateful. Because I know for sure Hannah has been a great resource for me. So has Rachel with Lily Works. If any of you guys follow her channel on YouTube, it's just called Lily Works. Her name's changed over the things. So she has 2 pages. One has like 7K and another one has like 3.5. But also Hannah with Hannah's Heirlooms has been a great resource for me as well. We actually became friends a couple years ago. Has it been a couple years yet? Probably. And I definitely have learned from her in her knowledge of glass. Definitely specifically, you know, glass from other countries, you know, art glass that's, you know, made to be so beautiful, put into necklaces, that sort of thing. The nice glass, you know, Czech glass, glass from Italy, Murano, all those sorts of things. She's pretty knowledgeable about that. Anyways, my favorite is definitely gemstones. I love gemstones and natural stones that are in different pieces of jewelry. And I definitely have a love for vintage jewelry. So with that being said, today I picked up some pretty incredible things at some pretty incredible prices. So I'm going to just really just do a haul. So I'm going to kind of shove this off back out of the way a little bit because the stuff that I do show you, I can kind of put up here and you can display it as we go along. So this is not any incredible find here, but I did today shop at 2 of my favorite kind of thrift stores locally that I like to find things at. But then I also went to an antique store where I used to have my antique booth. I did have an antique booth for several years. Anyways, this is a beautiful, heavy, it's missing 1 stone, but I have lots of stones in my harvested stones that I can replace that because they sold it as is. But this is, and many of you probably recognize, this is a J. Crew made necklace with a very distinctive, you know, spring ring clasp. They always look like, you know, the lifesaver things that they throw out, you know, when people are on a boat and they need to float. You know what I mean? But it does also have a hang tag that says J. Crew as well. J. Crew's jewelry is just so well made. These are all glass stones, faceted as you see, and very, very heavy and well constructed. So for $2.99, a necklace like this for resale, I can easily get, you know, $40, $50 for, depending on what it is specifically. All I'll do is pop a new rhinestone in there and I'll be good to go. So that was one of the things I picked up, and I did in fact pay $2.99 for that. So I'm going to kind of cut these tags off as I go. And I will tell you what I paid for. I think that's part of what's fun about a jewelry haul. If you come and watch is, you know, I like to think of myself a little bit as a cheapskate. And let me specify what I mean by cheapskate. I do not buy cheap things, but the things that I do buy, I try to get the best deal possible because I really try to pass on those deals to all the people that I do sell my jewelry to, whether it be on eBay or District or whatever platform it is. I do private sales here on YouTube as well. Yeah, so that's why I want to kind of tell you what I paid for it. And I really, I'm not one to you know, pay up massive amounts for jewelry. I mean, I will sometimes. One thing I sort of paid up for today was a beautiful fetish necklace, gorgeous. And I paid $20 for this. For me, that's a lot for me to pay. Usually I'm trying to find my, you know, necklaces and jewelry for, you know, I don't know, under $10, hopefully. But I knew the value of, you know, these fetish necklaces. It's got heshi, which is what you call this the stone that's stacked on there. And then, you know, all of these are carved, and you see that's carved with mother of pearl. I guess that other one, that one, those look like all mother of pearl, but this one might be bone. It does not have the look of mother of pearl. Same with this one. That could be abalone. Actually, I think that is abalone. For those of you that don't know, abalone is going to be harder and harder to use for that you'll see in jewelry, because they are limiting the ability of people to use abalone shell in the jewelry making, because it's like affected the, you know, the environment of the ocean wherever it grows or is. So anyways, a beautiful fetish necklace. And I'll put it on a neck here for you so you can see what it looks like. So give me 1 second to grab a neck. I think it's about 20 some inches. It's very strange for me to, a lot of my other videos that I stream or go up and down my videos. So to stream sideways, I haven't done it in a while. This does have sterling silver, you know, fixtures, I'm sorry. You know, sterling silver findings on this. And it is about 24 inches. And, you know, when you go on and Google Lens, a thing like that, which I'll do real quick for you right now, you can get a good idea of, you know, I wouldn't pay $20 for this unless I knew that I was going to make a good deal of money being able to sell it far above that. Sorry, I have to get this phone open. So for those of you who don't know, an excellent resource to use when you're trying to do research on items that you have bought for resale, or even before you've bought, you're trying to decide. If you go to Google, which most people have on their phone, Google has something that's called Google Lens. And so if you go into Google, you'll find this little kind of camera looking thing. If you click on that, it'll bring you to something that's called Google Lens. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a visual picture. Hold on 1 second. I have to move my other camera out of the way so I can get a picture of this. And when, you know, you're in a store and you're trying to go, oh, is it really worth it to me? You know, here we have several fetish necklaces, some over $100. That's a less expensive one. 85. Again, some of them could be 2-strand, 3-strand, varied. There's a $300 one, but I know that it pretty confidently that, you know, if I end up, hello, jewelry friends, how are you? Nice to see you here. Amy, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Hannah, my friend with Hannah's Heirlooms, is hanging out with us too. Yeah, so I'm just doing a jewelry haul, and here's a fetish necklace that I did pay up for a little bit, got it for $20, but I think it is lovely. So I'm just gonna, you know, keep that back there for now, and I will keep going, because I know that I'm gonna have to keep putting stuff on the neck, so. Sorry, this is a J. Crew necklace. Love their stuff, love, love, love. I'm just pushing that back, okay. So this one was sort of a risk for me. This was $12 for this, and it had a whole bunch of rings in it, which normally, you know, when you're in an antique store, there are actually people who don't know what they're doing, and they'll have things in their booths that are very, very valuable, but they have them marked for $5 or $3. I'll show you some things today that I found, or they maybe do know, but they, you know, maybe don't know the value of things. But I couldn't open this bag specifically to look at these rings, but there was at least one ring. I know, isn't it? It is so beautiful, and they can be quite valuable for sure. I have a couple of them. I don't know if I've gotten them listed up on my eBay page just yet, but definitely is in my, I have thousands of pieces of jewelry. I'm the worst procrastinator on getting things listed on eBay. because it just takes forever. But I know that when I started to look at these rings through the bag, when I'm sitting here trying to make my decision, am I going to, you know, pay $12 for what could have been a whole bunch of junk? This to me looked like sterling silver. Now I was able to check for magnetism through the bag. Where is my magnet? Hold on. I don't know where here. Oh, no. Oh, here it is. So I knew that that wasn't magnetic. So that was one thing that I was like, And then, but then this ring looked pretty close up. It looks pretty tarnished. And for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, they may look at all those black marks and think, oh my gosh, this ring could be damaged or there's something wrong with it. I don't know. It does say on the inside, it does have a mark for 925, which you see right here. Looks like it's bent a little bit here, but since it's sterling silver, it is possible to actually unbend it because, you know, sterling silver is very soft. But I will tell you from experience, this looks like a smoky quartz to me, that just because something is marked with 925 does not mean it is. China's notorious for marking their stuff with 925, and it really isn't. But I do have acids here today. We can check some of these rings and see if they are actually a precious metal. But I see it has some marcasites there. And if we give this a real close look with my gem tester, we can see if it's possible. It looks like smoky quartz to me. So, well, there you go. It's glass. So I'm going to predict, you see, and again, I was just taking a risk. So I don't know. And there were some other rings in here that potentially could be something. So I haven't lost out yet. But yes, this is a faceted piece of glass. Otherwise, if I was, and you can get a little bit of movement for glass. You know, if it was smoky quartz, it would go up to this line. So it does have marcasites on there. Again, you know, my whole thing about, you know, could things be real? You know, you can only find that out once you test. So let's do a quick little test on this. Now you can test with Sterling for sterling silver in, you know, precious metals on jewelry using sterling silver. You know, acid, I do have some of that. It's more of a brownie kind of burgundy. But usually I test those using a white stone because the reaction you get is very different. It kind of turns red on the scratch and all that. But you can also test for sterling silver using 18 karat gold. What you would get as a reaction is a milky blue kind of reaction if you get a good scratch. So just to start off with, I will try these two rings out. You know, although that is marked, it doesn't necessarily mean it is. And there's not one single piece of jewelry that I buy that I assume just because it's marked that it is. You got to go home and you got to test it. You know what I mean? So one thing that's really important to do when you're scratching your items to test for sterling or to test whatever using a scratch stone is the place in which you scratched. You want to look really closely at that place. Now this is tarnished. That's what all that black you see there. But you want to see if where you scratched, which I had scratched here on the end, if it starts to turn like brassy underneath there. Now it did not turn brassy, so that's good to know that I didn't have any brassiness there. Now again, this is this other ring. This is probably not sterling silver, but I thought it's worth giving it a chance. It definitely has the look of a tarnished, and it's not magnetic. You know, so we'll just do a quick test on it and see. You know, you want to try to scratch these in an inconspicuous spot. So, you know, you're not, you know, you don't want to be scratching up here, up by the prongs that are holding stones in, because that could really damage rings. So again, this is marked 925. I now am suspicious whether or not it is. This is not marked at all. But it is pretty and has some nice, you know, etching going along there. And this is kind of a little puffy, you know, domed floral effect there. Again, what I'm looking here, you do not want to get these acids on your fingers. They can hurt your skin very, very much. So my prediction was good on the left one. You see how that has turned a nice milky blue. This is in fact sterling silver. So that right there paid for this little bag of a whole bunch of rings for $12. And that's what you're looking to try to do, is you're trying to make up the money and to see that it was worth it. So sometimes you just got to take a risk and see. So that's good to know. But just as I suspected, once we found out that this was in fact glass, although this was marked, it is not showing. Now, sometimes what I do is I will try to test this on, you know, not everything reacts perfectly using the 18 karat gold acid. So I'm going to grab here, I'm going to open a bottle of some of my sterling silver stuff, and I'll show you how we test using a white stone, looking for really for it to turn burgundy red. So I'm going to try this one again. Now, as you see closely, it does have little specks of blue, but barely. Certainly not enough for me to be convinced that that was actually sterling silver. So we're going to test. Hold on, I got to take the plastic off real quick. And that's all we're doing tonight. We're just hanging out, looking at jewelry that I found, and just playing. No sales or anything like that tonight. Okay. So here is my white stone. I'm going to set this one aside. Do not get that on your fingers. Very, very important. Now, this is filthy. But that's okay. So I'm going to take this once again, and I'm going to do a scratch here on this. Now, it's going to look different than when you do it on the black one because it's on a white stone. But this is how I test using the, and you can see it there. Okay, it does scratch like silver. Now, the reaction that you're looking to get using sterling silver acid is that it turns burgundy or red, or any version of it. If it is any other color or clear or whatever, it looks like apparently I need to cut a top off of this acid. So give me 1 second. Sorry, it was a new bottle. And it actually is giving me a burgundy reaction, so it might very well be. I do know that sometimes using the sterling silver, testing for sterling silver using the 18 karat gold acid is not always correct or perfect, you know. So two different ways to test the same thing. But let me bring this up to you closer, and then I'm going to show you a trick on how it's definitely a reaction for sterling silver. So, okay, yay. This is also, in fact, sterling silver. I just didn't get a good scratch on this, or it's possible that this is rhodium plated, and really my first layer really didn't have much sterling to get because we had to get under that rhodium plating in order to determine that. But this is what you can do also. You can take a clear piece of paper towel, and I can wipe this off, and I'll be able to see the burgundy right there on my cloth too. There it is, and it'll disappear pretty quickly because it's an acid, like it will end up just going clear. But that is the mark that we're looking to get. So it is in fact sterling silver. So that's good news times 2 so far. So we're 2 for 2 for 2. So I'm not crying about that, right? Okay, so let's keep looking in this bag. So 2 sterling silver rings. Nice, nice, nice. This is another ring that caught my eye when it was inside there. It's pretty large, as you see. Has a square faceted, I believe it's probably a piece of glass, but we'll just check it real quick. I'm getting no reaction, so it definitely is glass. Actually, so it's not even glass, it's acrylic. So that'll, you know, again, I was not able to open this bag when I bought it. So I could only use my eyes. I couldn't actually tell. Yeah, that being acrylic, the likelihood that this is anything else but a gold tone is small. It is not magnetic though. Oh, it is slightly magnetic. You see that? Especially those prongs. Back here, oh, it is slightly magnetic there too. So we're not even going to test that. We know that that's just a costume jewelry ring, but still pretty cool, you know. I like the, you know, kind of filigree it has in, you know, the side there. Okay, so that is not sterling silver. Let's keep going here. We've got all these rings. Now, another one in there that I thought potentially could be sterling was this one. You know, but look, it looks like it's already been scratched or worn. Maybe this wasn't the one I was looking at, because we can already tell here, this is an example of something that's been silver plated, or, you know, maybe not even silver plated, but something else. And eventually from wearing it, it eventually rubs off and you can see that brassy, way less valuable metal. So this will go into scrap for me. So I'm going to take that right now, and I have some tubs that I'm collecting some things to the left, and I'm going to just put that in there. There we go. Hold on one second. I just wanted to get a cloth to set here. All right, so that is definitely craft. All right, so this one kind of looks like gunmetal in color. I do not think this is sterling in any way. I just think it's a little costume piece, and I am correct. But there's nothing wrong with it. So I will put this in my wearable tub. So again, as I'm sorting, I'm going to be sorting into craft and then into wearable. Okay, so this looked very much like a piece of Murano glass. Hannah could probably tell me exactly. I don't know. There's lots of other glass that's made that's not Murano that has those little flecks in it, the little kind of copper things. But this was a pretty, hey there, how are you? You know, what other places, you know, make glass where you can see like all these copper flecks in it? You know, because obviously this is most likely just a piece of costume jewelry. I'm testing this little thing here, and it's just a piece of faceted glass. But this, you know, I know that more than just, you know, Italian-made glass can look like this. I'm sure there's glass that they make in Japan as well as Czech glass. I don't know. And I'm sure there's even cheap versions here in America. When you look at a piece of stone like this, Hannah, how can you look at it and know? Hannah's in the chat for me. Maybe she'll answer for me. How do you know that it's definitely Murano? Because Murano glass is most often not actually marked. Now, when I buy it in a full necklace, I can. There are so many other things, like, you know, capped beads and, you know, hand knotting in between and vintage clasps, that I can tell when something is authentic. But from this, I can't tell at all. So this just looks like a little ring there. Could be sterling silver. So I think I'm going to stick with our sterling silver testing on my white stone. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not even going to bother to test this. So you get to learn this as you do more and more, testing of items. This scratched with a brown scratch that is not the kind of look usually when you have something that's sterling silver. Let me show you what this looks like. This is sterling silver. The scratch color is very different. Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I just those little gold kind of coppery flecks make me think of that. But so from the scratch here, I don't even need to test this because I know underneath, like I said, you want to look where you scratched and see if you see any brassiness underneath. We are definitely getting brassiness. I can't remember where I scratched on here, so I can't physically see the spot, but there's no point in testing that. So it's a cute ring though, but I will put that in a wearable. It looks like it has been chipped ever so slightly there on the side, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it is still a fun little cool ring, and that's what it's looking like. So I will put that in a wearable. A few other rings in here that had some potential to be sterling silver. There were many that I knew absolutely were not. There was no question. I didn't even need to, test. This kind of makes me think it could be sterling silver because sterling silver is a very soft metal and it bends easy. And this is all mushed and bent. So I don't believe we have a mark on the inside. I don't see any brassiness. When I take it out of the screen, it's because I'm bringing it around my neck. I have a loop. So I'm just bringing it close to me so I can look. Okay, on the inside of this, I see brassiness along the whole inside. So it's worn off. You can see it here. This is all from me testing acids. That's what all that yellowness is. You don't want to get that on your fingers. This is definitely not sterling. It's not magnetic, but on the inside, I wouldn't get that brassiness. So I'm going to put that in probably craft. I will put this one in wearable. There's nothing wrong with it. It just is acrylic. Okay. Those more valuable things or things that are authentic, I'll keep right behind us here. All right. So we got this little flower ring. It is magnetic, so there's nothing else I have to do. Sterling silver and, precious metals like gold are not magnetic. So if we get any of that magnetism, now that doesn't count when you're doing a clasp. Most clasps are magnetic on necklaces and bracelets because they have kind of inner findings that are, magnetic. Even if the actual clasp is on the outside sterling silver, it can still be magnetic. So don't let your clasp determine whether or not you think that that whole item is magnetic or not. Definitely test other parts. So anyways, but that's a cute little ring, and I will put that in wearable. This looks like it's had a little bit more use. It's kind of green and gross on the inside. I'm going to just put this in craft. Again, this was a whole little baggie of rings that I just took a risk on. And there were about 15 rings in here. And so far, I have 2 sterling silver ones. So it's already paid for itself. These are 2 little plastic rings. So I'm going to put those in craft. Oh, here's another plastic one. Here's another plastic one. It does have a little bit of, glittery kind of inside. That's kind of cool. I might put that one in wearable. Or maybe I'll put all of them in wearable because there's nothing wrong with them. Okay. Here we have a rhinestone prong set ring. You can see here that it is missing one right there. At one point, this was gold tone, but a lot of that has rubbed off, as you see. And this ring was, a sizable ring that someone has mushed tight. So I'm going to put that in craft. This is definitely just costume, magnetic. I'll put that in craft. Sorry, I was just zooming out a little bit. Let's see what else we got here. So this is just a band, kind of looks like a wedding band. I doubt it is. Let me take a look with my loop on the inside. I'll be right back. It is not magnetic. Yeah, it doesn't overly look like gold. But if I test one of these others, to me, I think all of these are probably costume. We'll be able to tell really quickly because of they'll scratch brown. So there's a brown scratch. I'll put that in wearable. Nothing wrong with it. There's a brown scratch. I don't even need to test them. I'll put that in wearable. Here's an enameled ring. Enameled just means that, over metal, you have like this sort of paint that kind of hardens and it's just it's not just used in jewelry. It's like you can have like enamel, pots and pans. It's the same concept. It's metal that's got this kind of an enamel topping. This doesn't look overly valuable or anything to me. I'm not going to test it, but I will put that in wearable. We've got, I don't know, is that like for the nose? I have no idea. Okay, back now. Those Jot D shorts don't take long at all. What's a Jot D short? I have no idea what that means. What's a Jot D short? Are you talking about like doing a little short on YouTube for your page? I don't know what that means. I'm just checking this out to see if I see any marks on the inside. This does have bezel set jewelry of the day short. Perfect. Oh, well, aren't you organized? I need to do better about doing that. I'm terrible about putting stuff on. I'm terrible about doing shorts, and I need to do better. I'm the worst. I just go on and do videos. I'm the worst. Anyways, these are bezel set little rhinestones in there. And probably is not sterling. Again, we got another brown scratch. No point. But I will put that in wearable. We've got a little rhinestone ring here that has seen better days. You can see it's got a lot of brassiness that's come through. It does have all of its rhinestones, as you can see there. Come on, focus for me. There you go. Nobody wants a ring that's kind of gone all brassy. So I'll put that in craft. We've got this little ring. It's kind of made of like when they do metal that's like diamond cut metal. This reminds me of that. This looks brand new, but I think it's probably just costume jewelry, just as I guessed. Another brown scratch, but I'll put that back there as well. This looked sterling to me through the bag, even though I couldn't open the bag. But there you go, magnetic. But it's cute. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It has not lost its silver tone yet. So I'll just put that in wearable. So anyways, from that bag, I'd say that was worth it. I definitely, 2 rings out of there aren't gonna, I'm not crying about that, let me just say. So we will move on to some other finds. All right, so let me keep going here. All right, so I just paid $2 for this. There was a whole, sometimes when you go to the antique store, they'll have like a whole, someone's put out an entire basket of all, costume jewelry. And the only way to know what's in it is to dig through it. So I sat there for 15 minutes and went through all the pieces, and 99% of the stuff in there I didn't keep. But I thought this was a really nice vintage, beautiful chain with some filigree details. Look at those filigree beads. And thought it could be really great for layering. Oh, and look at there. I didn't even know it, but it is in fact Crown Trifari. So ding, 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 that makes us happy. You do see there is some wear there on those jump rings, but nothing so much to the point where you're like, okay, it's unwearable. Some of these links kind of want to get caught there, so I'm just trying to undo them there. But anyways, okay, so a Trifari, super long. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom out. Super long layering gold tone necklace for $2 is not too shabby. So I'm happy with that. Okay. And I don't know where I want to put those. Okay. Sorry, I'm taking a bite of cheese. All right, I didn't eat dinner. Okay, look at this little cutie patootie. It's like a little jelly belly, sort of, or, you know, this is just a Cobichon that's been sort of bezel set with some kind of houndstooth prongs there. The little cat feet, it's got rhinestone for eyes. His little whiskers are bent a little, but I would very carefully bring those back in place because if I'm too rough on them, I could cause them to break off, and we don't want that. So I want to be super gentle with that. But anyways, isn't he cute? I picked him up for $5 just because I thought he was cute, for no other reason. I don't know if we have any cat lovers out there, but I do have one cat. His name's Simon. He's very moody and doesn't like anyone in my family except for me, which makes my family not happy. This is either glass or a gemstone. It is not acrylic. Let me look at it more closely to see if I think it might be lapis. It's definitely not lapis lazuli. It doesn't have any gold flecks in it. But I will give it a quick test here with see if we get any reaction on that Cobichon. When I say Cobichon, what I'm doing, there's no reaction there. So it's probably just a piece of, you know, oval glass or whatever, but it's still cute. When I say Cobichon, I'm referring to the cut of this stone. You can get stones that are faceted, like here's an example of faceted stones where they've cut the edges and then put them into whatever piece of jewelry. Or they can have stones that are just rounded on the top. They could be an oval one or a round one or whatever, but we refer to those as Cobichon. Sounds French to me. I don't know where it comes from, but he's cute. I like that. Okay, so you can go sit there on your Trifari necklace there. All right, let's keep going. Let me just pour out all the goodies that are in this bag. Most of this stuff came from my local antique store that I used to have my own booth at. And so I found some really incredible deals. This one particular vendor I got like 3 things from. She literally had them marked as $3. And I knew immediately by the rivets on the side of this bracelet that the construction was significant and old, because I've had other bracelets like this. You can see it also has, you know, what looks like to be kind of copper with done some brassiness. But if we look right here on the back of those fold over clasps, it does in fact say gold filled. It says 1/20th, 12 karat gold filled. So that's a lot of bracelet to be gold filled. Look at the construction of that. It's really quite lovely. So I'm assuming that that is a rose gold versus, you know, regular yellow gold, but that it is all in fact gold filled. And I got that for $3. So I snagged that right up, and I was like, are you kidding me? Did they like, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you put it on the wrist. Here, let me put it on this wrist. I'm so not used to the zoom in, zoom out, because I can't do that on District. And I'm not going to attach it right now, but obviously that's what it's looking like on the wrist. To me, very I don't know. I think that's very mid-century modern. Maybe it's not the right era, but I think of it like that. Nothing wrong with it. Beautiful. So we will put that right back there. Let me put I don't know where we want to put this. Okay. All right. So again, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of times when I'm sourcing, I'm always you know, I carry with me around my neck my own loop and magnet when I go into a store. I have another one here around my neck while we're here. But then I also have my phone with me all the time because I want to be able to look things up on Google Lens, which is that great resource I just showed you. So I did look this one up. I was hoping on the back I might see some marks for, like, you know, gold filled or something, and I couldn't find any marks for gold filled because I felt like it had to be something decent, because it was, to me, this looked like jade. And then I think this is carved, possibly carved coral, just a very light coral. I'm not sure about that. Maybe these two are carved, you know. I know, I don't even think they're allowed to use ivory anymore. It does look like it's missing one thing right there, but I could stick something else on there. I could put a rhinestone there or whatever. I don't know. I was trying to pull this off, but so when I did search for it, I found many similar to it. And I think I paid $5 for this. Where did that just go? I hope I didn't just make that fall off. I hope I didn't just... Oh, there it is. Yay, I'm so happy. Okay, so let's see what kind of jade this is, shall we? So any of you that are popping in and watching here from YouTube, welcome in. My name is Curry, and I'm with Cherished Relics Boutique here, and I am just doing a haul, just showing you my latest haul today. There are two types of jade that you're going to be able to look at on your Presidium. One of them is nephrite jade, which I think it tends to be less valuable than, jadeite. But nephrite jade's going to fall here right under quartz, kind of a little below it. And then jadeite tends to go a little higher, past quartz. So let's see if I can keep that from going blurry on us by also focusing on my hand. And so my guess is that that's probably a nephrite jade. We know it's not just plain glass, or we wouldn't get this reaction at all. And you can see it goes right in there to the nephrite jade range. Now, if the other parts of this brooch are in fact coral, possibly those two at least, maybe not that, then, that is not something you can test on a Presidium. That just kind of comes from... if it was using natural materials for the other pieces, you knew that this was authentic jade, well, then most likely, this is probably not going to be plastic or something. But I'm going to put this in a little baggie real quick because I don't want to lose that piece, so I can fix it. But yeah, I picked that. I think I bought that for $5. Okay. I'm trying to kind of set stuff behind here as we go. All right, look at this beautiful milk glass prong set beauty, right? Let's see how much I paid for this. I hate it when people put these long tags on things and then they go and chuck everything in a bag. Because then I'm like, they all kind of get tangled around each other. So this was my tag from that milk glass thing. I think I paid like $4. There you go. So I did not see any brand on here. Often on these rhinestone prong set brooches, you often don't see a brand, but it was in great condition. It's very interesting. This entire one has just flipped up. It's on its side right now, so it just needs to be turned the right direction. But that's a beautiful milk glass, brooch to me, regardless of who it is. I thought that was lovely. So I picked that up for $4. Now, I don't know if that's hematite or not. Probably. The gray part. Hematite is not really necessarily on the Presidium. But I think I picked this up for $2. I have tons of rhinestone, earrings and, AB faceted, whatever. But for $2, you know, I can't go wrong. Unless it was broken. Okay. So, these are, in fact, AB coated. AB stands for Aurora Borealis. And that's just a coating that is put over glass often. You can hear the sound of glass there. It's interesting how they have a mixture of clearly black findings and then gold findings. I think someone possibly remade this a little bit and maybe put those on there and maybe added those beads. So these might possibly be a little bit of a remake, but there is no brand on there or anything. But again, I just paid $2 for those. It wasn't a big expense or anything like that. Okay. So this is not really necessarily vintage. This is a Sabika, which is a more modern rhinestone jewelry that most of us probably recognize in the modern world. Very quality made jewelry, but usually Sabika is pretty pricey, even though it's not known for being sterling silver. But here, I'm going to take us on down here. It looks like it's on a Rolo link chain. Here's your Sabika mark there as well. We got a nice long extender with a little glass heart on it. But Sabika is pretty valuable, and I paid $3 for that. And I know that it's worth way more than that. So although that's not really my cup of tea, jewelry-wise, I do recognize its value. So I went ahead and picked that up. Thanks. You've never heard of Sabika? Are you kidding me? Well, it's a very common brand in, like, you know, kind of gift stores. You know, like the little cute gift store that you might find in, you know, like I know we have a gift store here in Wexford, PA, where I live near Pittsburgh. They sell Sabika in there. But let me just show you real quick. I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to show you its value. It's probably going to be up there in the $50 range. Let's see what it says. And it's really quite surprising with Sabika because it's not sterling silver jewelry, you know? So I don't really understand why it's always so valuable, but it's just the brand. But there you go, Sabika, $275. Now, I think that's a bit steep, but why in the heck, when you have one there, someone doesn't know that's Sabika, and that's the only reason that they have put a price of $17 on it, because they have no clue of its value. Most of your other things are going to be here, Sabika, showing more of a significant value. But these are some other Sabika pieces of jewelry. You can see pretty typically they have some high value. So yeah, I don't own a lot of it, but I see a lot of it. So there you go. So for $3, when it possibly is worth about $100, and for resale, I would never put that high of a price on it. I'd offer it for much lower than that because I want people to buy from me. But it definitely was worth the $3 I spent for sure. No question. Yeah. Okay. So another thing I picked up in that same vendor, it was a sterling bracelet. Again, this one was only $3. That's like 3 things I got from them. I got the Sabika necklace. I got the bracelet back here, the you know, one that's gold filled. And this is just, it's not a brand or anything, but I'll tell you, it definitely has the look that sterling does. It is not magnetic, which I tested before I left. And sterling silver, when it kind of clings against each other, has a certain ting about the sound it makes. If you can hear that, this definitely is that sound. And if I do a super quick acid test on it, I'm going to just use the black stone here, wherever I put it. I'm not going to test every single part of this bracelet, but from everything that I I hope it is sterling. Now, again, I only paid $3, so I didn't take a huge risk. I'm looking to get a milky blue reaction from this. So let's see if it does that, and it in fact does. So for $3, I'm not too sad about that. Okay, it doesn't have a brand or anything, but it's a nice little dainty, you know, kind of like ring-linked bracelet. So there you go. Another good pickup, I think, in my opinion. Okay. When you're using these acids, typically if I'm doing a lot of testing I try to wear gloves, but it's not going to look very pretty on this live video. So I'm trying to avoid doing that, but you do not want to get that on your fingers. That's for sure. Okay. So here is another bracelet that I picked up that again, just because I see something is marked with sterling does not mean it is. I always test it, but you have a 925 right here. And then you also have a 925 on that lobster claw clasp. This to me, stone-wise, looks like tanzanite, which can have kind of that more kind of bluey color, a little bit different looking than amethyst per se, which is a little bit more purpley. I don't know that it is, but we're going to test it real quick. Sorry, I'm trying to get the ugly stuff off it before we take a look at it. But here, this is all prong set. Open back so the light can shine in there. And that says, what does that say? In India? Might say India. Okay. So yeah, let's just do a real quick check on the sorry. I try to zoom in and out on my phone, and the way I have it propped up, it keeps wanting to fall over. That's why I keep like not doing it very confidently. But let's see what this says. Now, when you do use these Presidium gem testers, you need to make sure when you first turn them on that you calibrate them before you actually start testing. Because, when you turn them off and they get bounced around a little bit, you want them to be kind of set to be as accurate as possible. And if it is not, in fact, going where it should, then you can recalibrate it. So this should go all the way up into... it doesn't want to go all the way up there. I could probably recalibrate it right now. Now I'm pressing on glass, so let me try this one again. And my fingers have to be, so it's really not quite going up high enough. So real quick, right in front of you, I'm going to recalibrate it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get this blinking blue light. And I want to get this to come all the way into this section. Come on, buddy. Come on, get up there higher. I want it to go higher than that. I'm not pleased with that. Then it's going to blink red, I believe, or green. Okay, and I'm just calibrating the glass side. And I take it away. And it's going to do it 2 more times on the calibration up there when it flashes blue. Come on, go higher for me. It's going to do it 1 more time. You want your finger to be on that metal part. Okay. So now hopefully we're getting up there higher. Why is it not going up there as high as I want it? There we go. It is not pleasing me in how well it's going up there. But anyways, let's see what this is going to tell us. You want to go, be at a 90-degree perpendicular to the stone, a flat portion of the stone. And yeah, I think this is tanzanite, or at least it's getting close to tanzanite. It's not quite there. It's possible it could be iolite. Iolite comes in lots of different colors too. So all I know is it is some type of gemstone. It's probably also rhodium plated. You know, you can see how shiny silver it is here. If I scratch it, sometimes if you don't get a great first scratch when you're doing acid testing on these, when you have a really shiny piece, it often is because, you know, sometimes that rhodium plating, you know, it's covering up, you know. But I'm going to do a real quick. So I'm going to do it on my lobster claw clasp. So I paid $12 for this. So if it is in fact sterling, like it says it is, I see that it is some type of gemstone, then that was worth it to me. And I want to do one part of the actual bracelet. These are scratching like they're sterling. Okay. Sometimes you can scratch them and they're like slippery and they're not, you know, letting you scratch it very easily. All right, well, so that's giving us the reaction we want. So yes, in fact, it is sterling, good to know. And that was definitely worth $12 purchase that I paid for it. So I'm happy with that. Yay. Believe me, there's plenty of times I come home and my gut instinct was wrong. So I try not to take risks that are super expensive risks when I really don't know, okay? So let's keep going. Let me grab another bag here. Or actually, there's just some other stuff that I got. Here's a few things I got from a local little thrift store. This is caught on here. But I just picked these few items up for just a couple dollars each. So it looks like this brass bangle I thought was pretty unique. It looks like it's these are prong set, and those are probably glass of some type. Maybe like some sort of painted glass. It's hard to say, but there you go. You can get an idea of what it looks like. But it is all prong set. So as I look at this and I see it's for $3, it's brass. It doesn't have any mark on the inside. But when I'm looking at an item that doesn't have any pieces that are missing out of it, and it is prong set, that's worth it to me. Because that's the kind of quality you're looking for when you're doing jewelry resale. So that bangle is looking at right about 8 1/4. So there's that find. I paid $2 for this. Kind of reminded me of like Monet. You know, there was often a period of time where they had lots of jewelry that was kind of that white enameled chains. But I thought this was a cute layering piece, definitely vintage. I didn't see any brand on it when I looked at it, but I knew it was vintage, especially when you've got a, you know, a lobster claw clasp. I mean, not lobster claw, a spring ring clasp is a good sign that it's vintage. And to be honest, this white kind of enameled link is in excellent condition because it can often look very rubbed off. But, you know, with those little textured stations, this would make a great layering necklace. So that I picked up for just $2. Okay. All right. These earrings, when I picked up, I have so much jewelry at this point that I really don't just randomly pick up clip-on earrings that are a no brand unless there's something about them that is significant to me. These were pretty cool. I mean, I liked that kind of that basket weave kind of look there, but this looked like sterling to me. The top of this did. And as I looked at it closer, you see it wasn't magnetic. I didn't see any mark on the clip backs for sterling, but then when I took the earring off here, I noticed that someone had soldered them on here. I don't know that they were original to the earring. It's possible this might have been a pierced earring and someone converted them, okay? So I thought it might be worth this part. I don't think this is sterling, but I think that this could be. And for $2, I took a risk because, you know, Usually, if I'm getting clip-on earrings these days, I'm usually trying to get something that has a recognized vintage brand on it, you know, all the regular ones, you know, Weiss and Monet, and, you know, there are a lot of vintage earrings that don't have any brand on them, but they're unsigned, but they're still really quite valuable. Like, I know a lot of jewelry by Juliana is very much that way. So that was the risk I took. So I just want to do a real quick scratch on this and see if this part might possibly be sterling. Now, it is scratching like sterling. Okay, that's one good sign. It's not magnetic, so that's another good sign. I can't really tell from the sound of that together or know anything. Now, this does not look massively tarnished, but you know, in the way that it tarnishes could be a sign for me too. But I do want to look there at the corner that I scratched it on, and I want to look for any brassiness coming through. And I see no brassiness coming through. So that's a good sign. You see, that's where I scratched, and it still looks silver. So that's what we want. Oh, you didn't know about Sabika either? Huh. Okay. Well, it's definitely valuable. So let's see if my risk paid off. Don't know that it did. Now I'm getting some little flecks of blue. Do you see that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now test this on my white stone. Because sometimes when I'm testing on the black one using 18 karat, if I get a questionable result, even though everything else about it makes me think, oh, I think it could be sterling, we are getting a little bit of reaction there, but not enough to convince me. Then what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to scratch this on here. Look how dirty that stone is. I apologize. And again, what I'm looking to get here on that scratch, when I put the sterling silver on there, is that it's going to turn burgundy. It would not turn burgundy if, look at, we've got this. And it is definitely sterling. Look at that reaction. 100%. And you can see what you're looking for. Listen, this in and of itself looks burgundy because it's like a brown solution. That we're not looking, when we're looking at the result of testing here, we're not looking at the color of the fluid. We're looking at the color of the scratch. And if you can see through there, you can see that the scratch has turned from a silver color to a burgundy color. And again, I have another one back there that was that ring. Okay. Again, what you're going to see is you're going to see that that turns burgundy. It takes a second, but you see it. And you can even confirm that. Again, like I said, if you use a rag, you don't want to get this on your hands. But I'm going to just take it and go quick. But I see that burgundy reaction right there. That is sterling silver. So I don't fully rely on 18 karat gold solution to always be my determiner for whether or not something is an authentic precious metal. So that was a great risk and it paid off. So for $2, I got a pair of sterling silver earrings that I believe someone put new backs on them. So I'm okay with that. I hope this is not boring to you guys, but this is, oh, sorry, those were, yeah, those were $2. But this is, yeah, this is what the whole, you know, going and hunting for, you know, your inventory is all about. I'm just cleaning this. Give me a second. I just need to get a paper towel. But all the things that I'm just talking out loud really are all the things that I ask myself when I'm trying to, you know, purchase things out and about. All right. So there we go. Let's keep going. So, Amy with Hello Jewelry Friends, I need to see and make sure that I follow you. I think I went and followed you once when you were on maybe something with Hannah. There were some of Hannah's friends that had come. And I remember, I think I remember your jewelry channel. So let me just go to my own YouTube and make sure that I'm following you. I'm doing it on a different device real quick. And yeah, if you don't follow me, definitely go check out. I think you did follow. Oh, perfect. Well, then you're probably down there on my subscriptions. So let me scroll down here. Hello, jewelry. Oh, there you are. Bam. You with your little short that you just posted. Oh, sorry. Here, free advertisement for Amy. Let's check it out. What's the short that she just... Probably this one, short
Hello,
of the
Jewelry
day.
Friends, it's Amy, and
There
this is
you
my
go.
scarf. Is a new scarf to me by Vera Newman.
Oh, that's
and it
pretty.
has some nice colors to it. I wore a
So I'm not going to hold it off
on.
on, I mean, look at the whole thing. But anyways, yay. And so when I see people who do a good job, I'm having a giveaway. Please enter to win. Okay, let me go there right now. Where do I go for your giveaway? Am I supposed to go to a video somewhere? 100 subscribers. Where am I supposed to go to do your giveaway?
Hello, Jewelry Friends.
I will go. I actually remember going in and commenting on your things. I'll go check it out when I get off tonight, and I'll make sure I watch the video. I'm not going to be a cheater and go in there and just swing in and just put my name in there. I'll definitely go and figure out. But can you recall which video it was? I'll go in and watch it, and I am happy to go in there and subscribe. So anyways, there's that. We all are here to support each other, right? Okay, let's keep going. All right, so some more things I got. This is from the antique store that I was at. I paid $2 for this. Now, I do know from experience that this necklace, I knew at the time was... I thought possibly not sterling silver but maybe I was thinking that the chain, that is correct. The video to enter, you need to leave a comment about the most precious piece of jewelry. No problem. I'll do that tonight for sure. You know, just like you, I tell you, I've had a YouTube channel for a couple years now, and Hannah's been doing great. Like, her channel has grown a lot of new followers. Most recently, she's up to a couple over 2,000 followers. And I've been lingering there just under 1,000 forever. I'm at about 800. It just, you know, it just takes a while, you know. You just got to keep plugging away at it. But you're motivating me to go and post shorts. So anyways, I didn't feel like at the time that this chain was sterling silver, because I didn't see a mark for it. But that little, but it's not magnetic. But the reason I got this is quite often when you find this very filigree looking jewelry, and I'm going to show you another one that has this, that quite often are never marked with, they never have 925 markings on them, but they are often sterling silver. Here's another thing I picked up today. This was a $10 buy. But that kind of very filigree look to me is a very sterling, vintage, old sterling thing. So it wasn't so much that I felt that the necklace was sterling, but I thought there was a chance that this was sterling. And again, I only paid like $2 for it. So let's just do a real quick scratch here. I'm going to be careful because sterling silver can be really soft. Well, I'm so glad you came tonight, Amy. That's awesome. My sweet friend Hannah was kind enough to send out a little thing to her friends or her followers. So, you know, I do so many videos that are sales. I do a lot of live videos that are sales that sometimes I just want to, I want it to be about the jewelry. And so like sometimes I just want it to be a haul, and that's what's happening tonight. Sometimes I just want to have nothing to do with sales. I just want to play with the jewelry. Because this is all the stuff I do at home when I'm trying to find out if something's authentic or has value. Okay, so I did 2 scratches, one on the main part. I did one on that little twisted kind of, look, my guess is this is probably sterling because I think that was soldered on. And that's a good sign for something to be sterling when it's soldered. So again, because I'm using the white stone here, I'm looking to get a burgundy reaction. I don't need to use a ton. I don't need to have so much of this that it covers the entire line. I just need enough that I see that it's burgundy. And again, my instincts were correct. It is in fact sterling. Now, not marked with sterling, but it is. It kind of reminds me of like a type of flower, you know, with like the little pistils going out. I don't know how you describe that. But with that being said, on these teeny little dainty chains, I rarely like to test the chains because if I sit there and rub those and do a scratch test on those, I can like make the chain break. But I will often, you know, test the clasp. This is a non-magnetic chain, a foxglove bloom, huh? Well, I don't even know what kind of flower that is. I might have to look that up on my phone. But I am going to do a real quick scratch of this vintage spring ring clasp. I did not see a mark for sterling, but I'm going to test it anyways. Whoops. Ooh, no, 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 no. I do not want that to be on my, this is, did you see that reaction there? This is actual, I got to move that. This is actual, you know, natural stone. And I do not want that acid to like affect it. And look, it took off the sealant. It's hard for you to see it. Maybe you can see it. Look at that. That acid just now, I did not expect it to come off that stone. Usually I put down a little plastic piece. Right there, it took off the seal on top of my, you know, quartz. This is a quartz stone. If I literally took my, you know, I'll do it with the, with my Presidium, and I'll show you it's quartz. But that's unfortunate. That is not what I wanted to happen. Was not expecting it. A lot of times I usually try to put down a little piece of plastic often. Let's see if I have it here. I try to put one of these down so that doesn't happen. So next time I pull that out, I'll put that down. But real quick, if you look here, this is in fact a quartz. So if I just literally do this, you can see it doesn't quite, it gets up to the very bottom of quartz, but that's what that is. So anyways, so well, let's keep going. So very nice, pretty, potentially foxglove bloom. And looky there, my clasp and necklace is also sterling. So, oh my God, I just got that all over my fingers. Hold on, I gotta go run it underwater. Hold on. That acid is, I'm sure you guys use acids too, but it's terrible on your skin. You do not want to get it on your skin. And I don't really know why it's coming out of this bottle like that. Darn it. Yes, and I do not, you know, it hurts sometimes. And I had just opened a new bottle and it was coming out the side. You see that? And so I had turned it to the side and it kind of came out. Let's see if I can try to soak some of that up. That's annoying. Okay, anyways, yes, my finger is going to turn yellow. That is special. Anyways, so I will not do it straight on my thing. I'll put that thing down. But let me show you the brown marks there, which you can see. All right, I was about to try to go look up foxglove. What does that say? Foxglove bloom. Let's look it up. You never stop learning. That's the teacher in me. I gotta look it up. Okay, hold on. Foxglove bloom flower image. Oh, very cool. So like sort of an upside down concept. Very good. Okay. Yeah, potentially could be. And I bet you at one point this maybe wasn't mushed down so much. Maybe it was more rounded. I don't know. I don't want to play with it because I might hurt it. All right. I'm going to keep going. All right. So here are some more items from that same antique store that we can look at. Okay. All right. So I did pay $10 for this. I just mostly did because it looks super old. Gosh, I can feel that on my finger. It's going to be bad. The whole thing's going to turn yellow and then all my skin's going to come off. It's the worst. I try to not get it on my hands, but I can feel it even though I ran and put my hand under water. Terrible. So I paid $10 for this particular brooch, but mostly because, sorry, I'm just trying to pull this off. This person who, I hate, what a terrible way. Any of you with antique booths, quit. If you have one, don't tie your stuff on with thread. It's the hardest thing to cut off, and it gets tangled up and stuff so easy. It is not. Okay. But I just thought this looked super old. And you really look at the back. I think at one point it was gold tone, but you could have sort of a vermeil. I thought potentially it might be sterling. I wasn't sure. But even if it wasn't, I used tiny jewelry stickers. Yes, much better. And probably jewelry stickers that didn't stick to the jewelry so much where it's a pain to get it off. And you can just see how old this is. Now, it does have some marcasites in here. You know, but I just, that is just a glass pearl. It's not acrylic, but it is not a natural pearl, okay? But I just kind of was curious whether it might be sterling. I don't know. It was not magnetic. So, you know, when I test these other items, I can test that as well. So this is another, you know, filigree brooch that I picked up at the antique store. I know that I've sold these before $30, $40, $50. And this was for 10. So they clearly did not know it was sterling. These are never marked as sterling. I just know from experience that they often are. So we will test that one too. But isn't that pretty? So pretty. Look at all that acid. You can tell I'm working for a living. We've got a very vintage clasp there with it just being a C clasp. Kind of tells its age. Okay. All right. And then I picked up this brooch, which made me think of Sarah Coventry, because I know Sarah Coventry has had some brooches that they use some of this kind of blue stone. But this, after looking at it longer, I felt like this is older, like than the Sarah Coventry jewelry that I had in mind. I have some like rings and some items that were made. Actually, I have one in a drawer over here. Let me grab one to show you what I was thinking. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Where would I put it? I keep all of my jewelry that's eBay separate from everything else. So when someone buys something, I'm able to find it quickly. And I remember I just recently saw, oh, here it is. Oh no, that's not it. I thought I just recently saw, because I thought I had a demi parure. I thought at one point I may have had like a match. Where is it? And maybe it wasn't, oh, you know what? Maybe it wasn't, maybe I'd seen the brooch somewhere else, but it was earrings, not a ring. But this says Sarah Coventry, but this is what I had in mind of what I thought the other one was. You see where it says Sarah Coventry? And it sort of has this look with the stone. But then as I looked at it further, I'm like, this is way older and way more valuable than this. So anyways, with that being said, this does have a prong set authentic, what feels like, it doesn't feel like acrylic or anything. It definitely feels like a gemstone. Let me move this in closer. I don't know which gemstone potentially. You just sold this brooch? What, I hope you got a good bit of money for it. Was it valuable? Okay, so it's probably glass. They are plastic. Well, this wouldn't move at all if they're plastic. And it moves. Oh, hold on. You see how it moves some? If they're plastic, I would get no reaction. Let me take something that's glass and tap it against it. Sounds like glass. So I think at least on my brooch, I think these are some type of glass. Don't know exactly what. But look at the construction with all these rivets and all the filigree backing. It definitely is old. I don't know that any part of me thinks that this is sterling. I kind of think it's not, but it is pretty. Anyways, but the brooch you did sell. Hey, Hannah, take a quick picture of it, or maybe you have a picture somewhere and text it to me, because I'm curious how close and similar it looks to this one. Because I definitely think it has some value. Okay, so there's 3 fun brooches. And then this one vendor had such great stuff. Look at this ridiculousness. Like, seriously, I'm like screaming about the stupid burgundy thread. Do you see how many times this is wrapped around here? Like, it's like, ugh, so annoying. Don't use the thread. If you're going to use string, use like a thicker string. You know, like this kind of thickness, perfectly fine. But this is ridiculous. It's making me crazy. Sorry, I'm whining. Ignore me. Just ignore me. I tend to do that. Okay, so for this set at this one booth, we have a double ring prong set, beautiful prong set circle brooch. There's the construction on the back, no marks or anything like that, but it's beautiful. I don't think that this necessarily goes with these, but the vendor had put these earrings with it. And as I looked closer, we have a couple dead stones. You can see here, they are prong set. But what a dead stone means is all of these rhinestones have a foil backing. And if moisture gets behind these prong settings, which if we look really close up, that's what these are. Every one of them is a prong setting. If moisture gets back there, the foil can sometimes come off and it loses that's the reason they can still be sparkly without any light coming through the back. And you call that a dead stone, and essentially just needs to be replaced. So I would gently pull those prongs up. I'd take out that stone, I'd take out that stone, and I would replace them. Now, some of these others have started yellowing a little bit. Not enough for me to want to replace them. It just shows the age of them. But as I looked at these earrings, this one on the left looks pretty good. I don't think I need to do anything to that one. It looks pretty good. But let me flip it over here. For both the brooch and the earrings, I think I paid $6. And this is why, because these are Weiss. I was like, okay, clearly you don't know Weiss is valuable, because why are you offering Weiss rhinestone earrings with a gorgeous brooch? I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and buy that. Now you can see here that we have one rhinestone missing. I have purchased over the years, and I have harvested over the years, lots of rhinestones out of broken pieces of vintage jewelry, or, you know, things that need repair. And I've also bought vintage rhinestones in bulk, so that when I do need to do some of the repair fixes that lots of people won't do, then I can bring something back to its full, you know, life value there. Now here, you know, this is looking pretty yellow. I suppose if I had a marquee shaped rhinestone to replace that, I probably would do it also, because then I could make them look as great as that. But anyways, for $6, I thought I was pretty happy with that. Okay. So I'm going to put that right back there. My little Weiss earrings. Weiss, if you don't know, is a good quality vintage brand of often rhinestone earrings and the like. Okay. So what I want to do real quick is take these two. Well, let me keep going, because I have one other thing that's probably sterling. I paid $1 for this, $1. And I looked at the bag, and the actual chain is marked 925. Again, just because it says it doesn't mean I believe it. But it was enough for me to buy it for $1 and see. So look at this really cute interlinking little rhinestone kind of channel set. Oh, they are prong set. Stones there. Look, kind of channel set in those hearts. I'm just going to check real quick and see if... oh, okay. Well, they're not just cubic zirconia either. Okay. Let me bring this nice and close. I'm too close. Sorry if I'm making you ill and going back and forth, but I'm just trying to make it so you can still see on the Presidium. Now, you see, I feel like, I don't know if it's because I'm hitting the metal. Like, I do have I have this great thing that I use sometimes when I'm too blind to be able to see well. Sometimes ignore that. It's not for you. Sometimes I'll put it under here so that I can actually see what I'm doing, because, you know, I'm old and I can't really tell that I'm hitting the stone flat and in the center. So now you can't see, but I can see. And okay, well, lots of reaction there. Why are you giving me all these beeps when earlier you weren't giving me any? I still think it's cubic zirconia. I don't get enough reaction from that. But I also think that this is sterling silver. So let me look inside those little heart links and see if I see any marks for 925. And I only say this because it's on a chain that says 925. So I'm looking inside of it using the loop around my neck, if you wonder where I went. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but I can test it. But I knew when I looked in that bag and the bag was $1 that I saw that said 925 there. And the clasp also says 925 on it right there. So that was enough for me for $1 to get this. So yes, I will test that as well. So let's do a real quick. I think I'm going to test. I don't think that's sterling. It is a cute little dainty, like I think something that like a teenager would like, you know. And if it is sterling silver, then that will test well. Look at how ridiculous the orange, I mean the yellow from doing all these acid tests. It's terrible. Okay, like I said, I don't like to test the actual chain, the physical chain, because I don't want to damage it. But I am going to test the spring ring clasp. And I'm also going to test the heart. Now, it's probably rhodium plated, so it's possible I won't get a great result when I do this. Because it's so shiny, it's possible. Yellow fingers show I'm a dedicated. No kidding. Yeah, we know it. That's right. That's right. You know, it's so funny because it's the pressure here on YouTube to, you know, everyone has their hands looking so good. You know, on District, when I do all my live shows, if you go to my YouTube channel and you look under just the regular, you know, videos that I post, you know, obviously that's just me, you know. Today I happen to be doing a live, but most of my lives are from me doing like live sales off District that I stream to my YouTube channel. But on District, we can't zoom in as close. So I never really care what my nails look like because we can't get this close. But here, look how much I can zoom in. Who wants to look at that? Nobody does. So I always feel the pressure when I come on YouTube to have my nails look decent. Okay, there are scratches for the necklace. We're going to stick it back there. When you do this, make a habit. I'm not talking to those people who are regulars and resellers and know what they're doing. But for anybody new and trying to learn, these are just tips that I've learned along the way. So I know that I scratched for that here. I'm going to make some other scratches. I'm going to set things by near where I scratch. Now, I think this is probably not sterling, but it's not magnetic either. Okay, my guess is it's not. Now, it doesn't give me as brown of a scratch as earlier, but it still isn't scratching the same color. My guess is it's probably not, but we'll still do that. So that's there, that's there. I'm 100% sure that this will be sterling. Now, sterling is a very soft metal, so as I scratch this, I just want to be sure that I'm, ooh, that is not looking like sterling. I take my words back. This, I don't think I've ever tested one of these really old ones and had it not be sterling. But, yeah, and it's got a very vintage C clasp, and it's possible it's not. Oh my goodness. Because that is not scratching like sterling would. It actually kind of looks like gold scratch, but that's okay. We'll keep going here. And then, again, I don't really think this one is, but we'll just do a quick scratch just in case. Sorry. Those are all giving me very yellow scratches. So my prediction is the only thing that's actually sterling is probably that necklace and the pendants, but we shall see. Oh, you see, I'm supposed to be learning my lesson. Get it together, Curry. I don't need to be making this go on my, let me move this. I don't need it to be going on my granite thing. Okay. Okay. So those two back there, this has just got this drip on here that's annoying the daylight's out of me. I gotta clean it up. It's making me crazy. Sorry, I'm trying to clean it up so I don't keep getting it all over my fingers when I open it. Doesn't that look better? Or mostly better? Okay, look at how much of a reaction. This is what sterling looks like. This is what sterling doesn't look like. It just is clear. You just have the color of the liquid. And again, if I take a piece of sorry. Those are the two sterling ones. Now, if I go and take it away from the other three, now you're not going to get any burgundy. So I eat my own words. Now, I still think I could sell that, even though I paid $10 for it because of its age. It's still a beautiful brooch. These two, I never thought that they were sterling. I just thought I'd try. But anyways, three pretty cool old vintage brooches. And one person with yellow hands. Great. All right, so that is sterling. And I'm going to pop it right back in this bag real quick because I just don't want it to get tangled up. But that is a cute little necklace. Okay. Speaking of necklaces that I got for $1, I did pick this up. For me, I paid up for this because I paid $7.50 for this. But it was in its box, like it could be given as a gift. You know, like all in all, it is sterling. It's in its original packaging. Although my mother has passed away, I can't give it to my own mother, but this is possibly not even cubic zirconia because it goes higher than it. It's possible it could be iolite. Cubic zirconia on your Presidium is just going to be on the kind of the middle to top end of glass. That's where kind of cubic zirconia will hit. But this I feel like kind of went possibly past it. That's kind of, it's probably cubic zirconia, but it's on the high end. But anyways, we have a very lovely, super thin box chain, which is a cool chain style. So anyways, I picked that up for $7.50, which is fine. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to make a crazy amount of money on that. But anyways, there you have it. I don't have a ton left. Well, I do have a lot left, but I won't bore you and do my unbagging also. Look at these cool earrings. I paid $4 for these. And these are so unique. I have definitely, in all my resale years, sold and shown lots and lots of, rhinestone earrings. But I will have to say that these are super unique. And I have never, you can see here the backs, had, rhinestone dangle earrings that looked like these do. So let me show you in my hand how they would sit in your ears. Are those not super unique? I have never seen They've got a beautiful filigree cap at the end of each little dangle there. Now, could there be a possibility that this is rock crystal? Maybe. I doubt it, but I will check it. Rock crystal, it is just glass, rhinestone glass. Rock crystal just means that the clear stone that is in something is not made of glass, but instead made of quartz. So rock crystal is a clear quartz, and it's quite valuable. But aren't those different? I love them. And I got them just because they were unique. See, there's no brand on them, but like I said earlier, I have so many earrings, I don't need to just pick up random earrings, but there has to be a reason. And the reason I picked these up is because I've never seen anything like that, and they were a good price. Okay. All right. So here is some actual Murano. Someone has put on, it might be a more modern Murano thing, but usually Murano puts on, you know, they have vintage spring ring clasps on their things. I think it's possible. This looks very old. If you look at, you know, this is not something that was made 5 years ago. You know, like I think this is much older, especially when you look at the tying that's gone on and how much rubbing has happened. This is not a new bracelet. And I think what happened is the spring ring clasp was replaced and someone put on this terribly ugly lobster clasp. Look at how terrible my hands look. But I would never do that. I'll just chuck that and I would put on a lovely vintage spring ring clasp onto this thing. Now, the reason I'm fairly confident that this is Murano, now Hannah can definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but typically from my experience when I am getting on, because I've sold a lot of necklaces that were Murano glass, and you know, this is called Millefiori. Now a lot of times you'll see a Millefiori kind of style in the glass, the way it's made, that have like lots of different colors in it. This one is just a purple lilac, but it's these you know, Murano beads often are capped and often are knotted. And so look, you even have this is so old that you can even see little bits of verdigris, which is like a sort of green dirtiness that can grow on there. You got to make sure you get it cleaned off. But to me, I think this was a more vintage thing. I think someone put a newer clasp on it, which was a stupid move. But I bought that for like, I don't even know where I put the tag. I think I paid $5 for it, maybe $4. And you can probably sell a bracelet like this for, you know, $30 or $40. So that was a good pickup. But aren't those pretty Millefiori purple flowers? So pretty. I need to go on and watch. I've watched a little bit, but it's fun to watch about how they make the glass, you know, and how they create all these things. I mean, it is truly an artwork. So anyways, we got that. I was trying to make this look all pretty back here, but I keep just shoving it back there and it somehow doesn't look pretty at all. That's all right. Before I take my thumbnail picture, I'll pretty it up. Okay, I only paid $3. It's so fascinating, a lot of work for sure, yes. I want to go watch more videos on that. I picked up this for $3. It is prong set. There's nothing extraordinary about this except that I just thought it was very dainty and simple. If it wasn't prong set, I wouldn't have picked it up. If it was missing stones, I wouldn't have picked it up. If the stones were dead, I wouldn't have picked it up. We got a little bit of yellowing going on, but that's about it. In the back actually looks incredible, in pretty good condition. So this is a more modern brooch. We have just a general safety class. That's what you call these on a brooch, where you put the bar in there and then you flip this around so it won't come out. But yeah, so I thought that was perfectly fine for a couple dollars. Okay, I don't have a lot left here. I'll keep going. Thanks for hanging out with me, Amy and Hannah. Anyone else who's here watching, you should say hello in the chat. You don't have to like have a full conversation, but I'd love to know if you're here. Okay, so for $2, I picked up this because it was Napier, and it was in great condition. Just a long, I sell a lot of vintage brand jewelry in my live sales. Sometimes I'll have a night where I'm just doing Monet or I'm just doing whatever. But if you look here, we've got a vintage. Oh, hold on. I got to plug my phone in. Don't die. Okay. Can you hear me okay? My phone was about to die. Hold on. I got to get a... Darn it. Don't die, phone. Hold on. I'm coming. I'm coming. Oh. Can hear okay. Okay, good. My phone was about to die. It was giving me these, and I plugged it into my cord, but then I realized my cord was not plugged in to the other end, and it was going blink, blink, blink. It was about to die on me. Anyways, here's your Napier mark right there, and yeah, vintage spring ring clasp. There are some knots in here that I believe were the design of the necklace. And I think when these are tied, they probably, I don't think you can, oh, well, maybe you can untie them. Maybe someone just tied them. That's cool. It's just got a whole bunch of knots like stations. Interesting. Have you ever seen that before? Someone might have just done that. But that's pretty darn creative because I think I can undo them. Anyways, a couple dollars for a nice Napier layer, something that can be used for layering. Okay, let's see, what did I pick this up for? So I did pay $3 for this, but mostly because I noticed that it did in fact have a really pretty clasp, first of all, but it was marked with 925 right there. I'm very confident that it is sterling. I'm not going to have us test it right here. But I knew in this, these are all just faceted glass beads. But I also know that if that's sterling, that most likely these bars and beads are also sterling. And that's quite a bit of sterling for that bracelet. So I will test that if we do any more testing today. Okay, so I picked this up for $2 only specifically because when Christmas comes around and I'm always like selling like Christmas brooches, I try to pick up cute ones as I go when they're super cheap. But look at how cute he is. Tell me that that's not cute. Enameled little toy soldier. Come on now. I don't see a brand. I thought he might be Jerry's or something, but he was totally worth it, I think. Don't you love him? Look at, he's even got little cheek circles. I love it. So anyways, I picked him up. All right. So again, like I said, I often don't pick up vintage clip back earrings these days unless there's a reason. Either they have a brand name on them and they're in immaculate condition, because I just have so much, or this particular bag of multiple sets of earrings was $2.99. So it looks like there's 4 pairs of earrings in here, so they were less than $1 each. And I knew that one of them was Napier because I could see it in the bag. So there you go. These are twist back. They're actually called comfort clips because what it is you can twist the back to get that adjusted, but then it will also have that part. It's like twist as well as clip. They're very comfortable, and these are in incredible condition. So that just by itself was worth $2.99. But so that was in the bag. These look like Avon or something. I don't know what they are. These aren't highly valuable or anything. But if they have all their rhinestones, then we're ready for Christmas. And it looks like it's missing one clear one right there, but that is an easy fix. Super easy. So that can go in my Christmas stash, right? Okay. And I also knew that there was a second pair of Napier in here. Again, also that comfort back. And the gold tone looks fantastic. So some really neutral Napier earrings. And then I saw these, and I couldn't tell what the brand was, but I could tell whatever brand it was that it was very quality, because the backs, the way the clips backs were, looked different than clip backs. I don't usually see clip backs look like this. They look very different. So it's either like a certain brand that's more ritzy, or I don't know. But here we have some, you know, inset rhinestones. These are glass pearls. They are cold and a little heavier. I think they're glass. Yeah, they're glass. It dangles there from that little rhinestone cluster. Let's see if I can see a brand in here. I don't see a brand. They need a little bit of a cleanup. I don't know, but they were unique. So, yeah. So I picked up those 4 earrings for $2.99. It worked for me. So we're going to put those back there. You see our pile accumulating there. Let's give you a little view. Yep. Okay, my phone is, what is it doing here? Why is this not lined up? What is going on here? Huh. Okay. So I'll test that in a second. So this is my last little baggie. We're almost done. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I have a couple more bags here, and then we are at the end. Okay, this one vendor with all of her beautiful jewelry, with all of her burgundy strings driving me nuts, I guess I have to forgive her, because she's the person I bought the most stuff from at this antique store, and her prices were incredible for beautiful name brand jewelry, some sterling. So, okay, I'll forgive her. So that pink necklace was $5, but it gets better. Are you ready? Not only is it a beautiful AB coated, you know, teardrop, you know, beautiful double strand bracelet with an encrusted fold over clasp, but it is, I think, Emmons. There's a brand. Night, Hannah. Gotta go. Call it a night. Have a great night. I'm almost done. You made it almost to the end. I'm so glad you came, Hannah. Oh, yeah, that was Vendome. See ya. So Vendome, $4. Beautiful condition. Look at those. Beautiful. I mean, come on. She has incredible prices. I will definitely go and buy from her again. How pretty, right? Beautiful. Vendome. Okay. Where do I want to put you? Put you there. Okay. Here's a little bit more of that Murano looking glass that, remember earlier tonight I was like, I wonder if that's real Murano. Here's the difference. This didn't have any capping on it. But look at these beads. These beads look super old. Look at those beautiful vintage filigree caps on both ends. And I don't know if they were original to this bracelet or if someone added them, but I feel like, you know, I feel like this is not Murano, but I feel like this is. I don't know if Hannah's still here, but she would definitely be able to tell me. It is just, and I feel like that all of that kind of copperness is throughout. Here it's just got this line of black with a little bit of copper. Here throughout the whole thing, it's swirly and just so much, made so much, you know, it's made so well. I paid $6 for that bracelet. And mostly I wasn't really, I don't even know that I'll necessarily keep those beads on the bracelet. The bracelet itself was okay. Nothing to write home about. But it was mostly the beads that to me stood out. They're definitely old. So anyways, there's that. Okay. And then I got 2 more things left and I'm done. I appreciate you coming. All right, so this I also picked up for $3. So if you, oh, I have 4 more things to show, 3 more things to show. If you don't already follow me and you're, you know, hanging out tonight and watching, please be sure to go down and, you know, there might even be in the corner, there might even be a thing that you can click on to follow my page. But all of the follows, the likes, the comments, they all really help the channel to grow. So it would be much, much appreciated if you took a minute and, you know, shared the love. Of course, if this is content that you're interested in only, I'm not going to ask you to do that if it's not your gig. But anyways, this is a beautiful natural pearl, artisan looking. You see all that wire wrapping going on? This is a little bit older, and I believe that this is all sterling silver. Again, I got this for $3, and I think it shows a little bit of age. That's some sort of, you know, bezel set glass pieces there. But I really, truly believe, look at the chain, kind of a smaller link, that this is sterling. And I think I even looked at the time to see. It is so tarnished. Let me see what that says. You see, look how much these things can tarnish. It's crazy. Don't look at my dry skin. I think that says sterling. More modern, these spring ring clasps will say 925, but older spring ring clasps will actually say the word sterling, and that's what that says there, is it says sterling. And on that link that's connecting those, it says, what does it say? It is so tarnished, it's hard to read it. Literally. I can't tell. I'll have to clean it off. But so that is definitely a sterling. For $3, I picked up, you know, natural pearl. Beautiful, definitely vintage, beautiful necklace. So that was a good pickup. Okay. Why is this not cooperating with me? I need it to be tight. I don't know why it's not being tight. Okay. I believe I paid $2 for this. Says it's blinking. Can you hear me? Because I literally am having a blinking thing of volume, like I've muted you. Can you guys hear me? Just give me a thumbs up, Amy, if you can. I'm almost done here. I don't really know why. You can hear. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. That is weird. I can't really show you what it's doing, but it's like blinking like a something about volume. I don't know, but as long as you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, I picked this up for $2. Beautiful filigree prong set with beautiful light blue, you know, simple little vintage rhinestone brooch there. $2 for that. And then this is the last thing I have to show you. I picked this up because I felt that there was a high possibility because I have had them before, that this could be sterling. So we will test this along with this bracelet, and then we will be done tonight. You can definitely hear. Okay, I don't know why this thing is still blinking. That is so weird. I might get a different cord. Let me switch cords. It's possible it's not liking that cord. I have no idea why it's doing that. So strange. I hope it's actually... You can still hear me, right? Weird. It's just blinking, and it looks like a picture of something that shows a muted button. But I know... Huh. Weird. Okay. Let's look lower. All right. So I picked these up for $2. I thought there was a chance they could be sterling. I could not find a mark, but it did sort of have the look of tarnishing like it could be, and they were not magnetic. Where's my magnet? Oh, well, that bar is. Okay, well, that's answering our question real quick. The actual hooks were too. Well, this was a mistake buy. But remember what I said earlier tonight, that sometimes when you are sourcing, you know, things to resell, again, these were in a bag. I was rushing through all these things. Maybe I didn't actually check it for magnetism. But I took a risk on something, and it was, I should have made sure that I used my darn, I mean, everyone knows that's this first eliminator. But it was a $2 risk. And to be honest, you know, of the 15 risks I took tonight, this is the only one that wasn't right. Well, that's not true. No, we had a couple, we had that one brooch that I was pretty confident was going to be sterling, and it wasn't. But mostly right. So anyways, I'll put that in a wearable lot, and somebody will love those little dream catcher earrings. So with that being said, let me just test this one bracelet, and I think we're done with our little adventure here. I'm going to turn off my Presidium there. So I'm going to test in a few places. Isn't that a pretty clasp? So I'm going to test the actual clasp. Okay, and you can always go and look where you scratch and see that it's not looking brassy. I'm definitely going to scratch one of these bar beads. It's also looking very sterling-like. And if I can possibly make it happen, I will try to scratch one of these. The thing that may not be sterling might be one of these beads here, but I'll try. I don't want to hurt the bracelet, but there you go. I got 3 scratches, and let's test it. We're looking for it to turn a burgundy, and all 3 of them turned burgundy. Do you see them? So for those of you who usually test your sterling silver using 18 karat gold acid, it's been great because tonight you've been able to see it used, those acids used in a different way. So just as marked, you can't always trust the marks. This was in fact true. That was worth a couple, I think I paid $3 for that bracelet. So that was a good pickup there as well. So there we got that. Again, there are your 3 marks right there. Okay? And you can also see them through the liquid. So, yeah. So here's my question. Will I redo the bracelet or sell it as is? Which one? Oh, this one? I don't know which one you mean. Like, this to me looks like it doesn't belong to this. These look really old. They look very different. They don't look like they go together. I don't feel like that's original. The one I tested. Will I redo this one? I probably won't redo it. I'll probably sell it just like it is. It's actually in really good condition. One fix I do need to do is, you know, put a, you know, a spring ring clasp onto this, but that's an easy fix. Yeah, so as you look here, let's take a little walk. Let's take a little field trip. What was your favorite thing tonight? I don't know some of you how long you've been here, but this was my haul. Picked up some pretty extraordinary things, and we had that fetish necklace. We had lots of sterling, that J. Crew, very brassy, missing one rhinestone. I'll fix that. Those very unique clip back earrings, milk glass, prong set, beautiful brooch. We had a Millefiori Murano bracelet. We had the cute little soldier, a few earrings, and then this was a sterling silver, possibly tanzanite. And that ended up being a sterling silver. This is just old, but not originally. I thought it might be possible, you know, like Sarah Coventry. We had that really pretty long layered filigree gold Trifari necklace. This turned out to be sterling. This turned out to be sterling. A whole bunch of Napier earrings. And in that bag with all the rings, I did end up getting 2 rings that were sterling, so that was worth it. I had the super vintage, gorgeous pearl necklace. What was your favorite? So you can tell me in the comments here, or when this thing's over and it posts to my page, you can go on and comment on there if you wanted. But look at that beautiful. That was Emmons, I believe. That beautiful bracelet, and then we had that brooch back there, and then of course that necklace that was kind of the white enameled. We had the jade brooch there, the really cool gold filled kind of mid-century modern looking bracelet there. We had this bangle. Those were all prong set. Couple earrings. I don't know, lots of goodies. The cute cat. Yes, there were some great things tonight. But I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me. And I hope you enjoyed that. I really, when I do these hauls, I may be long-winded and take forever, but I want to be able to teach people some stuff. So if you learned anything tonight, you know, or if you know, I mean, there's a lot of people who come and watch who are very experienced resellers. I'm not trying to teach those people. I'm probably learning from. But if I can be learning from some people, but then teaching others, that makes me happy. So again, thanks for coming. Again, my name is Curry and I'm with Cherish Relics Boutique. So yeah, go check out my YouTube channel. I also sell part-time on eBay under the same name, Cherish Relics Boutique, as well as part-time on the District.net platform under the name Cherish Relics Boutique as well. So some other places, I'll do a lot of live selling on there. So thanks for coming tonight. And especially you, Amy, I really liked hanging out with you. And I will go check out your most recent video to see if I can join in on your giveaway. Woohoo! You like the SS linked hearts. Yes, that necklace was super cute. I think it's in a bag up here. That was the one right there. Those were cute. All right, well, thanks for coming. You all have a great night, and I will see you later. Bye. And how do I turn this off? I don't know. Good night. See ya. I'm not sure I know. Let's see. How do I end the live? Like that? Yeah, you sure you want to stop?